The rain hammered against the windows like 1,000 unspoken regrets, each drop a reminder of a life David Harlan had buried under layers of silence. At 45, with calloused hands from years fixing engines in a rainy Seattle shipyard, he finally let the words escape. Raw, trembling, a confession that had clawed at his chest for decades. "Alex, I'm gay. I've always been, but I hid it for you, for us." His voice cracked like thunder in the dim living room, the weight of 40 years crashing down, leaving him exposed, heart pounding as if the world might shatter right there on the salt-streaked coffee table. Alex, 22 and home from his junior year at the University of Washington, froze mid-sip of his cooling coffee, his hazel eyes widening not in shock, but in a flicker of something deeper, recognition, perhaps, or relief. The room held its breath, the distant hum of ferries on Puget sound the only sound bridging the chasm between them. David braced for the storm. Rejection, questions, the unraveling of the only family he had left after Sarah's cancer stole her away 3 years ago. But Alex set his mug down slowly, his athletic frame uncoiling like a spring, and leaned forward, voice steady yet laced with a vulnerability that pierced David's soul. "Dad, me too. I've been waiting to tell you the same thing." In that instant, the rain seemed to hush, as if the heavens themselves paused to witness the pivot of their world. David's breath caught, a sob disguised as a laugh bubbling up from his chest, while Alex's hand reached across the table, not in pity, but in solidarity, fingers brushing in a tentative clasp that felt like the first real touch they'd shared since boyhood. It wasn't just a revelation. It was a mirror shattering, reflecting back 2 lives intertwined in secrecy, now free to weave a new thread of truth. But as the night deepened, neither could foresee how those words would ignite a firestorm of hidden desires, fractured loyalties, and a love that would demand they both fight for the light. David pulled back slightly, his blue eyes searching Alex's face, the lines etched around them deepening with a mix of awe and fear. "You? What? Son, how long?" The words tumbled out, clumsy in their urgency, as if he'd rehearsed this moment 1,000 times but never imagined the script flipping so utterly. Alex's cheeks flushed under the warm glow of the table lamp, a flush that spoke of his own buried storms. He was the spitting image of his mother in spirit, fierce, unyielding, but David's build, broad and steady, the kind that had carried them through grief. At 22, Alex was navigating the choppy waters of college life in Seattle's vibrant, fog-kissed streets, where coffee shops buzzed with artists and activists, and the air hummed with the possibility of reinvention. But beneath his easy smile and soccer scholarships lay a secret heavier than the Cascades, stolen glances at teammates in the locker room, a heart that quickened not for the sorority girls his friends chased, but for the quiet intensity of men who moved through the world with unguarded grace. "I've known since high school, Dad," Alex admitted, his voice gaining strength, like a river finding its course after a dam breaks. "Remember that summer camp in the Olympics? The one where Mom made us go to build character? There was this counselor, Jamie, tall, with that laugh that echoed through the pines. I couldn't stop watching him, feeling this pull I didn't understand. I thought I was broken." He paused, swallowing hard, the memory surfacing like a ghost in the rain-slicked night. David nodded, a ghost of his own past flickering in his eyes. The 70s boy in rural Oregon, stealing moments in the barn with a farmhand whose touch lingered like summer heat, only to bury it under the weight of small-town expectations and a marriage built on love, but not wholeness. The conversation stretched into the wee hours, the living room transforming into a confessional under the flicker of a single candle Sarah had loved. David spoke of his youth, the ache of denial that led him to engineering school, to Sarah's bright smile that promised normalcy. "She knew, Alex. Toward the end, when the chemo blurred her edges, she made me promise I'd live true after her. 'Don't waste the years I can't have,' she said." Tears traced silent paths down his weathered cheeks, and Alex reached out again, this time gripping his father's forearm, the muscle there still firm from yard work. "Mom was the bravest," Alex whispered. "And so are you. We both are." As dawn crept over the sound, painting the sky in hesitant pinks, they shared their first real laugh in years, a tentative bridge over the abyss. David felt a lightness he'd forgotten, like shedding a coat too heavy for spring. But beneath it simmered an undercurrent neither named yet, the raw intimacy of shared vulnerability, the way Alex's gaze lingered a beat too long, stirring echoes of forbidden warmth in David's chest. They agreed to take it slow, no grand gestures, just honesty. Breakfast was simple, eggs scrambled with herbs from the windowsill garden, coffee black and strong, the kind that fueled shipyard shifts. Over plates, Alex mentioned a campus event that weekend, a queer film festival at the Egyptian Theater with underground screenings of stories like theirs. "Come with me," he asked, half joking, half hopeful. David hesitated, the old fears whispering, but then nodded. "Yeah, let's see what it's like to walk in the light together." The days blurred into a tentative rhythm. David returned to the shipyard, welding steel plates under the perpetual drizzle, but now his hands moved with purpose, humming old folk tunes under his breath. Dylan, mostly, the kind Sarah used to dance to in the kitchen. Colleagues noticed the change. Mike, his grizzled foreman with a mustache like a broom, clapped him on the back one lunch break. "Harlan, you look like you won the lottery. Spill it." David chuckled, deflecting with a story about Alex's latest goal on the field, but inside, the truth burned bright. At home, evenings unfolded with uncharted ease. Takeout from the faux joint on Pike Street, debates over Seahawks games, and halting shares of crushes past. Alex confessed to a fleeting romance with a barista named Theo, all tattoos and poetry slams, that ended in awkward silence when Alex couldn't bridge the gap from friendship to more. "I freeze up, Dad. Like, what if it's all in my head?" David understood too well. He recounted his own near miss in college, a roommate, late-night talks turning to touches that vanished with morning light. "Fear's a thief, son. Steals the best parts of us." Their bond deepened, threads of fatherly advice weaving with peer-like camaraderie, but an electric tension hummed beneath, unspoken, as if the air between them crackled with possibility. Seattle's autumn wrapped around them like a lover's embrace. Leaves turning gold in Discovery Park, the scent of salt water mingling with espresso from every corner. One crisp Saturday, they ventured to the festival. The Egyptian's marquee glowed neon against the twilight, posters of defiant faces promising tales of love unbound. Inside, the theater pulsed with life. Rainbow flags draped over seats, a crowd of all ages murmuring in anticipation. David felt exposed, his flannel shirt suddenly too stiff, but Alex's hand on his shoulder grounded him. "We're here," Alex murmured, and they settled into velvet seats, the screen flickering to life with a story of a father and son navigating their truths in the shadow of AIDS-era stigma. As the film unfolded, tears came unbidden, David's for the parallels to his own silenced youth, Alex's for the what-ifs of a world that might have let him bloom sooner. In the dark, their knees brushed, a casual accident that sent a jolt through David, warm and disorienting. He shifted, heart racing, dismissing it as the room's intimacy. Afterward, over craft beers at a nearby dive with exposed brick walls and fairy lights strung like stars, they dissected the film. That scene where the dad burns his old letters? Cathartic as hell, Alex said, his eyes alight. David nodded, emboldened by the buzz. "Remind me of the box in the attic. Photos, notes from back then. Maybe it's time to let him go." The conversation veered personal, Alex admitting his latest distraction, a classmate, Ryan, with sun-kissed skin and a laugh that cut through lectures on environmental policy. "He's out. Proud. Makes me feel like I'm still hiding." David's advice came gentle. Start small. Invite him for coffee. The rest follows. But as they walked home along the waterfront, fairy horns moaning in the distance, a shadow fell. David's phone buzzed. A text from his sister, Aunt Lena in Portland. Heard rumors at the yard. Everything okay? Gossip traveled fast in tight-knit families, and Lena, ever the protector since their parents' passing, had a nose for trouble. David pocketed the phone, jaw tight. "Family's going to be a minefield," he muttered. Alex squeezed his arm. "We'll face it together." That night, sleep evaded David. He lay in the master bedroom, Sarah's side still indented from memory, staring at the ceiling fan's lazy spin. The confession had cracked him open, but Alex's words had poured in light. And something more, a tenderness that blurred lines he'd never questioned. Was it just relief, this warmth? Or the stirrings of a deeper reckoning? Down the hall, Alex tossed in his childhood bed, dreams tangled with Ryan's smile and his father's steady gaze, the two merging in ways that both thrilled and terrified. Monday brought normalcy's facade, David to the yard, Alex to classes amid the ivy-covered halls of UW. But midweek, tension erupted. At the shipyard, Mike cornered him during break, voice low over lukewarm vending machine sandwiches. "Harlan, words out. You know, batting for the other team? Look, I ain't judging. Hell, my nephew's the same, but the boys. Some are twitchy." David's stomach nodded. The welding torch's heat, nothing compared to this burn. "Twitchy how?" Mike shrugged. "Just talk. Keep your head down." He drove home heavy, rain sluicing the windshield like tears. Alex was waiting, takeout ties steaming on the table, but one look at David's face and he knew. What happened? Over pad, CEW, and awkward silences, David spilled it. The whispers, the sidelong glances. Alex's fists clenched. Screw them. You're the best welder they got. And if they can't handle it, neither can you. But beneath the fire, fear mirrored David's own. What if the world pushed back harder? The weekend loomed as a crossroads. Alex had mustered courage, texting Ryan for that coffee. Tomorrow at the Elliott Bay Book Company, he told David over dinner, nerves dancing in his voice. David forced a smile. Proud of you, kid. Yet as Alex chattered about Ryan's passion for urban farming, David's mind wandered to his own drought. Years without touch, the loneliness a quiet ache. That night, he unearthed the attic box, faded Polaroids of a younger him, arms slung around a ghost from college, scribbled notes pulsing with unspoken longing. He burned them in the backyard fire pit, flames devouring paper as rain threatened, catharsis mingling with fresh grief. Saturday dawned clear, a rare Seattle gift. Alex left early, nerves buzzing, leaving David to wander Pike Place Market alone. The stalls brimmed with color, salmon filleted with precision, flowers bursting in bouquets, the air thick with fish and flowers. He bought a bouquet of wild asters, Sarah's favorite, placing them on her grave at Lake View Cemetery later, overlooking the glittering bay. We did it, love, he whispered to the stone. Told him, and he's like me. Wind rustled the leaves, carrying a sense of her approval. Back home, Alex burst through the door, face alight. Dad, it was amazing. Ryan, he gets it. Said he'd been hoping I'd ask. Hugs followed, fierce and lingering, the scent of bookstore pages on Alex. But as evening fell, Ryan arrived for dinner, tall, with curly hair and an easy grin, his presence filling the space with new energy. Over grilled salmon and stories of community gardens, David watched them, Alex's hand brushing Ryan's, the spark undeniable. Jealousy flickered, irrational and sharp, not of Ryan, but of the ease youth allowed, the loves yet unlived. As plates cleared, Ryan turned to David. Alex says you're the one who gave him the push. That's huge, man. David waved it off, but warmth bloomed. Later, after Ryan left with a promise of a hike, Alex collapsed on the couch, beaming. Thanks, Dad, for everything. Their eyes met, charged with the day's emotions, and in that suspended moment, David saw not just his son, but a man stepping into his own, mirroring the bravery he'd ignited. Yet shadows gathered. Aunt Lena called the next day, voice edged with concern. David, Lena here. What's this I hear from Mike's wife? You coming out? To Alex? Honey, are you sure? The family's traditional. Your folks' graves would spin. David's grip tightened on the phone, the kitchen suddenly claustrophobic. Lena, it's true. And Alex. He's gay too. We're owning it. Silence stretched, then a sigh. Well, damn. Portland's got resources, pride events, support groups. But David's folks, they'll disown you in spirit. The call ended uneasily, a rift widening. Alex overheard, storming in. Let her. We're building our own family. But doubt crept in, manifesting in small ways. Alex canceling a team practice, David skipping a yard happy hour. The kitchen tin built like a squall line over the Olympics. Rumors at Alex's campus. A teammate's cold shoulder. At the yard, a tool accidentally misplaced, whispers turning to outright stares. Climax brewed midweek. David got called into the foreman's office, Mike avoiding his eyes as the boss, Hargrove, a red-faced veteran, leaned forward. Harlan, your solid work, but this. Lifestyle talks disrupting the crew. Consider a transfer to dry dock. Less team. It was code for isolation, and David walked out, quitting on the spot, the clang of his locker echoing like a final nail. He drove aimlessly, ending at Alki Beach, waves crashing under a bruised sky. Alex found him there hours later, Ryan in tow, a picnic basket absurd in the tension. We heard, Alex said, sitting close, sand gritty between them. Ryan nodded. My dads went through this in the 90s. Fought one. You will too. As sunset bled orange across the sound, they talked. Plans for David to freelance welding, Alex introducing him to queer networks at school. The words wove hope, but when Ryan stepped away for a call, Alex turned to David, eyes fierce. I love you, Dad. More than blood. You're my hero. In that vulnerability, the unspoken ignited. David's hand cupped Alex's cheek, thumb tracing jawline. A father's touch, yet laced with the day's rawness. Alex leaned in, not pulling away, their foreheads touching, breaths mingling. "Me too," David whispered, the line blurring into something profound. Not romantic taboo, but a soul-deep affirmation. They parted as Ryan returned, the moment sealed as their secret strength. Rebuilding began. David joined a support group at the Capitol Hill LGBTQ Center, stories shared over coffee mirroring his own. Alex and Ryan bloomed, their first kiss under cherry blossoms in Volunteer Park, David watching from afar with a father's quiet joy. But family fractures deepened. Lena's silence turned to a Thanksgiving ultimatum, come alone or not at all, forcing a choice. The holiday arrived crisp, turkey scents wafting from Lena's Portland bungalow. David and Alex drove down I-5, Ryan opting for family time. Tension crackled like static. Lena greeted stiffly, aunts and uncles murmuring. Dinner devolved. Uncle Ray's slur-laced joke, met by Alex's sharp retort. "We're here, together. Deal with it." Chaos erupted. Yells, tears, a plate shattering. David stood, voice thunder. "Enough. We leave as family, us too. Love's not negotiable." They fled to a roadside diner, pie and milkshake solace. "Was it worth it?" Alex asked. David grinned through exhaustion. Every word. Winter thawed into spring, scars fading. David landed gigs restoring vintage boats, his hands crafting beauty from rust. Alex graduated, Ryan by his side, a ring glinting future promises. At the ceremony, David sat front row, pride swelling. Post-ceremony, under stadium lights, Alex pulled him aside. "Remember that night? Your words changed me. But mine? They saved us both." David hugged him fierce. "And in saving you, son, you saved me." As fireworks burst over Husky Stadium, father and son stood arm in arm, the world vast and welcoming, their truths a beacon against the night. In the end, coming out wasn't just survival. It was resurrection, a love unbound that proved the heart's courage rewrites every ending. The summer sun filtered through the blinds of their Seattle rental. Now, just the two of them, since Alex's lease ended with graduation. David had surprised him with it. A fresh start, away from the old house's ghosts. Mornings began with routines reborn. David brewing pour-over in the galley kitchen, the aroma mingling with salt water from their Elliott Bay view, while Alex, now interning at a non-profit for queer youth, scrolled job listings on his laptop. Ryan was in Portland for the season, planting community gardens. Their long-distance calls it a nightly ritual that left Alex glowing. But the space between father and son hummed with a new normalcy, laced with the unspoken evolution of their bond. One July afternoon, as heat waves danced off the pavement, David returned from a welding consult at the Maritime Museum, sweat-soaked and exhilarated. "Got the bid," he announced, tossing his toolbox by the door. Alex looked up from the couch, feet propped on the coffee table cluttered with advocacy pamphlets. "The Liberty Clipper? That's huge, Dad." They clinked root beer bottles. Alex's nod to sobriety after a freshman stumble, celebrating with stories of schooners and sails. Laughter came easier now, a balm over old wounds, but David's eyes caught the way Alex's shirt clung in the humidity, a fleeting admiration he chalked up to pride in his son's vitality. Evenings often spilled into Capitol Hill's vibrant streets, where rainbow crosswalks led to dive bars and bookstores alive with poetry readings. They'd wander arm in arm, no longer hiding, drawing nods from strangers who saw kin in their stride. One night at Nomo's, an indie concert thrummed, fiddle strings and drums evoking Celtic roots twisted queer. David, 2 whiskeys in, swayed with Alex to a ballad of lost loves reclaimed. "This one's for us," Alex shouted over the crowd, and David pulled him close in a hug that blurred boundaries, bodies pressing in rhythm, hearts sinking to the beat. Heat rose, not just from the press, but something primal, quickly dismissed as the music spell. Back home, buzz fading, they crashed on the balcony, stars pricking the urban haze. "Ryan's coming up next weekend," Alex shared, voice soft. "Wants to meet you proper. Not as the cool dad, but us." David nodded, a pang twisting. Happiness for Alex, envy for the youth that allowed such open hearts. "He's good for you. Steady, like you need." Silence fell, then Alex turned, eyes searching. "And you? Anyone catching your eye at those group meets?" David hesitated, the truth a whisper. "Not yet, but I'm open." Finally, the group at the center had become sanctuary. Tuesdays, in a circle of folding chairs under posters of Stonewall heroes, men like David shared fragments. Javier, a chef outed by a tabloid. Tom, a retiree finding love at 60. David's turn came haltingly, Coming out to my son flipped my world. Best risk ever. Applause rippled, and after Marcus approached, a lithe graphic designer, 38, with warm brown skin and a smile that crinkled his eyes. Brave story, David. Remind me of my pops. Wish he'd had your guts. Coffee turned to walks in California Anderson Park, where fountains splashed and dog walkers nodded hellos. Marcus's touch, a hand on elbow guiding through crowds, stirred David, awakening nerves long dormant. Alex noticed, teasing over breakfast. Who's the guy? Spill. David flushed, describing Marcus's art, his laugh. Feels possible. Alex's grin widened. Go for it. You deserve fireworks. But beneath the encouragement lurked Alex's own churn. Ryan's texts grew sporadic, hints of doubt about long-term, the internship's demands pulling Alex into late nights. One evening, after a heated call, "Babe, I miss you, but Portland's calling me permanent." Alex slammed his phone, tears hot. David found him on the balcony, knees to chest. "Hey," he murmured, sitting close, arm around shoulders. "Talk to me." Words poured. Fears of losing Ryan, of love's fragility in a world still hostile. David's embrace tightened, rocking gently as sobs shook Alex. "You're enough, son, with or without." In the quiet after, Alex lifted his head, faces inches apart, breaths ragged. Gratitude swelled, morphing into a gaze too intense, lips parting instinctively. David froze, the pull magnetic but pulled back, heart hammering. "Alex, we can't." Hurt flashed in Alex's eyes, confusion, rejection. Before he nodded, scrambling inside. The air thickened with regret, the unspoken fracturing their ease. Days limped by, politeness a thin veil. David dove into the Clipper project, sparks flying from his torch like deflected emotions. Marcus texted invites, a gallery opening, but David demurred, citing deadlines. Alex buried in work, mentoring teens like his younger self, but Ryan's visit loomed, a test of fractures. When arrived, Ryan pulled up in a battered truck, dirt streaked from plots, hugging Alex fierce on the stoop. David watched from the kitchen, forcing warmth. "Welcome, kid." The weekend unfolded awkwardly. Hikes in Discovery Park, where ferns whispered secrets, picnic under madrona trees. Ryan's easy charm thawed ice, stories of his two dads' farm, the fight for marriage equality that shaped him. "You're coming out?" Inspired. Makes me want to call home more. Dinner at a waterfront spot, seafood platters steaming, laughter flowed. But under the table, Alex's foot nudged David's, accidental yet charged, a silent apology. David met his eyes, nodding forgiveness, the knot loosening. Late Saturday, as Ryan snored on the pullout, Alex slipped into the kitchen where David nursed tea. "Dad, about the other night. I was wrecked." "Didn't mean." David cut in, voice gentle. "I know. Grief makes us reach for anchors. You're my world, Alex. Always will be, that pure." Relief washed them, hugs turning brotherly, boundaries reaffirmed. Ryan stirred, joining with bedhead charm, and the three talked till dawn. Dreams of co-op farms, welding art installations, a future intertwined. Ryan left Sunday, promises renewed, and normalcy crept back. But the incident lingered, a catalyst. David accepted Marcus's invite, their first date at the gallery, abstracts exploding color, champagne fizzing. Marcus's hand is felt right, tentative kisses in the parking lot sparking life. Alex, sensing the shift, beamed. "Told you, fireworks." Fall brought change. Alex landed a full-time role at the center, Ryan relocating north for a joint venture. David's Clipper gleamed relaunched, a ceremony with mayor's ribbon cutting, family photos sans Lena, but with Marcus beaming beside. Yet echoes of family pulled. A letter arrived, Lena's script shaky. "Saw your boat in the paper. Proud despite myself. Doors open, if you want." Forgiveness brewed slow, a holiday called Bridging Gaps. Winter solstice, they gathered, David, Alex, Ryan, even Marcus, in the apartment aglow with lights. Stories circled, triumphs, stumbles, loves found. As snow dusted the sound, Alex raised a toast. To brave words that change everything. Glasses clinked, and in that chorus, David saw the arc. From hidden aches to this tapestry of truths. The human heart, he knew, bends toward light, not always straight but always worth the bend. Spring erupted in Seattle like a long-held breath. Cherry blossoms carpeting the U district in pink confetti as Alex and Ryan dove into their shared life. The apartment buzzed with Ryan's plants, pots of basil and tomatoes crowding the sill, his hands perpetually soil-kissed. David, thriving in freelance gigs, often escaped to his workshop in Fremont, where trolls guarded bridges and art thrived in odd corners. Marcus became fixture, weekend kayaks on Lake Union, his sketches capturing David's profile mid-laugh. Their romance unfolded slow, like a well-welded seam. Dinners at hidden gems, nights tangled in sheets that chased loneliness away. But beneath the bloom, old fractures itched. Lena's letter hung unanswered, a ghost at family talks. One drizzly April evening, over stir-fry Ryan whipped up with foraged mushrooms, the topic surfaced. Aunt Lena, she's family dad. Stubborn, but blood. David poked at his plate, fork scraping ceramic. Blood that cuts deep. Remember Thanksgiving? Alex's jaw set. Yeah, but grudges rot us. Ryan's dads forgave their kin, made him better. Ryan nodded, squeezing Alex's knee. Holidays heal, man. Give her a shot. David relented, dialing Portland the next day, voice thick. Lena? It's me. Her reply tumbled. Apologies laced with scripture, but genuine. Miss you, brother. And that boy of yours. Come for Mother's Day. Bring. Whoever. The whoever landed soft, an olive branch. The drive south was tense, rain sheeting the windshield, Marcus and passenger cracking jokes about bad 80s hair. Alex and Ryan trailed in the truck, playlists blasting indie folk. Lena's bungalow smelled of pot roast and lilacs, her hug fierce despite the tremor in her hands. Age catching up at 68. Uncles and cousins milled, awkward at first, but wine loosened tongues. Stories flowed. David's boat launch in the paper, Alex's youth program award. When Marcus slipped an arm around David's waist, murmurs rippled, but Lena silenced them with a glare. Love's love. End of. Tears pricked as they toasted Sarah, her photo on the mantle smiling approval. By dessert, Ray. Thanksgiving's offender. Clap David on back. Sorry, man. Ignorant fool. Healing, fragile but real. Back north, the victory fueled momentum. David proposed to Marcus under the Space Needle's glow. Rings simple, steel band etched with waves. Say yes, and we'll build whatever comes. Marcus did, kiss salty with happy tears. Alex hooped, planning a backyard wedding with Ryan's farm fresh vows. But joy's shadow loomed. At the center, Alex faced pushback, a donor pulling funds over agenda creep, whispers of his lifestyle unfit for mentoring kids. They want saviors, not sinners, he vented to David, fists balled. The fight ignited David's protective fire. He rallied the group, testimonials pouring in, parents thanking Alex for their own coming outs. A petition hit City Hall, media sniffing the drama. Seattle Times ran a feature. Father-son duo battles bias in queer youth aid. Backlash hit. Trolls online, a picket at the center with signs decrying groomers. One night, as Alex locked up, a figure lurked. Ex-teammate from college, face twisted. Freak, he spat, shoving Alex against brick. Bruises bloomed, but Ryan's call to David brought him racing, sirens wailing. Hospital lights harsh, stitches on Alex's brow, David paced. This city's progress is a lie, he growled. Marcus arrived, steadying him, while Ryan held Alex's hand, fury in his eyes. We'll sue. Expose him. But Alex, voice muffled by ice, shook head. No. Fight smart, double down on the work. The incident galvanized. Donors surged, a gala fundraiser packed the Paramount, speeches thundering. David took the mic, voice raw. My son teaches kids to stand tall. That's not agenda, it's armor. Summer swelled with triumphs. Wedding bells for David and Marcus in Golden Gardens, beachside with gulls wheeling, vows exchanged under driftwood arches. Alex officiated, words poetic. Love isn't brave alone, it's the echo we give each other. Rings slid on, kisses sealed, and as waves lapped, David felt whole. Alex and Ryan followed suit in fall. A harvest ceremony amid Ryan's field south. Hay bales and lanterns, David's toast tearful. From secrets to this, miracles happen. Yet life's gales tested. Marcus's gallery show tanked, critiques vicious, sentimental drivel from a midlife queer. David found him shattered in the studio, paint splattered like blood. Worthless, Marcus muttered. David knelt, hands framing his face. You're my masterpiece. We'll pivot, teach classes, collaborate. Resilience built their marriage, much like David's welds. Heat, pressure, strength. Alex's program expanded, chapters in Tacoma, a book deal brewing. But Ryan's wanderlust tugged. Offers in California for sustainable AG. It's us or the dream. Ryan confessed one hike, Packwood trails misty. Alex agonized, confiding in David over beers at the yardarm. Love him, but roots? David shared his own. Sarah's illness pulling him from dreams abroad. Fuck out. Compromise or it crumbles. The ultimatum peaked at Christmas. Family full now. Lena hosting, tables groaning with tamales and pie. Amid carols, Ryan pulled Alex aside. Stay with me here. We'll grow roots together. Tears, yes, and a new year dawned anchored. As winter yielded to evergreens, David reflected on the arc. A single night's words birthing this constellation. Loves nested, fights won, truths eternal. A center reunion, fathers and sons shared circles, Alex's hand in Ryan's, David's and Marcus's. We changed everything, he whispered to Alex across the flame. And in that gaze, the value shone. Humanity's core is courage, love's quiet revolution. Autumn leaves crunched underfoot as David and Marcus strolled through Green Lake, the path alive with joggers and geese honking overhead. Their first anniversary approached, marked not with fanfare, but a vow renewal at the boathouse. Simple words, rings re-exchanged, Alex and Ryan toasting with cider. Life had settled into a rhythm of abundance. David's commissions stacking for eco-sculptures, Marcus's workshops thriving with queer artists, Alex's book, echoes of coming out climbing indie charts. Ryan's farm co-op flourished, supplying markets with heirlooms that tasted of soil and story. But beneath the harvest glow, a whisper of unrest stirred. Lena's health faltered, a fall, hip surgery, her bungalow too steep for one. Come stay, David urged during visits, but pride held her. Independent woman, she'd snap, though eyes betrayed fear. Family threads pulled tighter. Holidays now mandatory, with Ryan's dad joining, their tales of 80s raids weaving with Lena's slow thaw. One Thanksgiving as turkey carved and stories swapped, Ray, redeemed, raised glass. To Harlan's and hearts mended. Laughter rang, but David's gaze on Alex lingered, pride mingled with a father's quiet worry for the road ahead. Alex, at 26 now, navigated marriage's early swells. Ryan's intensity, passion for causes, late nights planning expansions, clashed with Alex's need for quiet, the center's demands. Arguments simmered. You're always gone. Alex vented one night, post-gal exhaustion. Ryan fired back. And you're married to the mission. David mediated over brunches, wisdom hard won. Listen twice, speak once. Sarah taught me that. Mornings after men's saw them, kayaking, paddles dipping in sink, apologies unspoken but felt. David's world expanded too. A mentorship at the shipyard, training young welders, queer kids finding trade as refuge. One, Kai, 18 and fresh from foster care, reminded him of Alex's fire. Mr. Harlan, how'd you not break? Kai asked over sparks. David paused, torch cooling. Broke plenty, but love welds us back. Marcus beamed at home, framing Kai's first piece, an abstract heart in steel for the living room. Winter brought storm. Lena's decline accelerated, pneumonia felling her. David drove, south alone, Marcus understanding the solo vigil. Hospital beeps pierced Portland's gloom, Lena frail in gowns. Regrets, brother? She rasped. David held her hand, knuckles like twigs. None now. Thanks to you, pushing me to face it. Her eyes, once stormy, softened. Proud my boys. Tell Alex. Sorry for the years lost. He did. At her bedside funeral, ashes scattered in the Willamette, eulogies tear-streaked. Alex spoke last. Aunt Lena, you fought your way to us. Rest easy. Grief bonded them deeper, a memorial hike in the gorge healing rifts. Spring bloomed with Lena's will read. The bungalow to David, for new memories. They renovated queer-friendly Airbnb, proceeds to the center. Guests raved, couples honeymooning, families reconciling. But joy's counterpoint struck Alex. Infertility news after months trying. We want kids, he confessed to David, voice cracking over coffee. Ryan's farm dream included legacy, but biology dashed it. Adoption? Surrogacy? David suggested, drawing from Sarah's losses. Counseling followed, paths to fostering opening, teens like Kai, needing anchors. Marcus and David waded similar waters. No kids by choice, but mentoring filled gaps. A trip to Provincetown, Cape Cod's queer haven, reignited sparks, dunes walks, lobster boils, nights under lighthouses. Forever's better with you, Marcus murmured, and David believed it. Summer's heat wave tested. Wildfires choked skies, air thick with ash. The center evacuated, Alex coordinating remote. Ryan's co-op hit hard, crops wilted. Solidarity surged. David's sculptures auctioned for relief. Marcus's art donated. In the haze, they gathered. Barbecues in backyards. Stories swapping resilience. Fall circled back. Anniversary for Alex and Ryan at the farm. Bonfire crackling. Stars wheeling. David gifted a custom gate. Welded vines entwining hearts. For entrances and stays, he said. Vows renewed. Dances swaying. And as embers died, Alex pulled David aside. Lena's gone, but she gave us this. Your words started it all. David hugged him, chest tight. Ours together, son. The value crystallized. Life's tempests forge, not fracture, when love anchors. In every brave utterance, world's remake. Not perfect, but profoundly whole. The bungalow's fresh paint gleamed under Portland sun. Rainbow trim a quiet rebellion against Lena's floral past. David and Marcus turned it into a haven. Guest book filling with thanks from couples healing posts coming out, families bridging divides. Alex crashed there often. Ryan's truck parked amid rose bushes, their fostering classes spilling into late-night debates. Think we'll be good dads? Alex asked one evening, porch swing creaking. David, nursing a beer, smiled. Better than I was at first. You'll learn on the fly. At 30, Alex led the center's expansion, satellites in Spokane, Vancouver, border be damned. His book Sequel brewed, interviews with fathers like David. Ryan's co-op tripled, organic cosigns with tribes, sustainability a creed. Their home, a fixer-upper in Ballard, brimmed with plans, nursery sketches, adoption fairs circled on calendars. But weights dragged, hearts aching for the child that would complete them. David's career peaked. A commission for the Olympic Sculpture Park, massive waves in recycled steel, symbolizing fluidity. Queer metaphor unspoken but felt. Unveiling drew crowds. Mayor's speech praising, resilience embodied. Marcus curated the exhibit, panels glowing under gallery lights. Pride swelled, but privately, David confided, never thought I'd crest this wave. Marcus kissed his temple. You earned every swell. Challenges crested too. Backlash to Alex's expansion. Conservative councilmen railing indoctrination at hearings. Protests swelled, signs venomous. David testified, voice steady. My son saved lives by sharing truth. That's education, not erasure. Media frenzy followed, CNN spots, op-eds lauding the Harlans. Victory came narrow, funding secured, but toll lingered. Hate mail, doxing threats. Ryan installed cameras, Marcus taught self-defense. One crisp October night, crisis peaked. Alex's phone rang post-midnight. Kai, the mentee, online, voice trembling. They found me. Foster parents outed, kicked out. Nowhere to go. David drove through fog, Marcus packing blankets. They scooped Kai from a bus stop, 17 and shivering, backpack all he owned. Home with us, David said. No hesitation. Alex and Ryan cleared the guest room, makeshift family instant. Kai's integration tested. Nightmares, trust slow. Therapy sessions at the center, David's shop time, teaching sparks as metaphor. Fix what's bent, don't scrap it. Bonds formed. Ryan's garden lessons, Marcus's art therapy. Holidays healed. Thanksgiving with Kai's first turkey carve. Hanukkah lights for his Jewish roots unearthed. News broke joyous. Match found. A 2-year-old girl, Mia, from Seattle's system. Toddler energy boundless. Home study passed, court dates ticked. Pickup day dawned electric. Paperwork signed. Mia in arms, dark curls and curious eyes. Dada, she babbled to Ryan. Pops, to Alex, the far on their playground. David watched baptisms of sorts. Playdates, first steps echoed in giggles. Grandparenting suited him. Story times of brave fathers, Mia, on his knee. Marcus doted, custom mobiles spinning. Kai, now 18, enrolled in trade school, David shadow. Winter solstice gala at the center. Alex keynote, Mia on hip. From one brave talk to this family, he said, gesturing wide. David teared, Marcus's hand warm. After, snow falling soft, they drove home. Mia asleep, Kai humming. Changed everything. Alex murmured from back seat. David glanced back, heart full. And keeps changing. The human weave. Threads of valor. Mended into tapestries of grace. Years layered like Seattle's fog. Thickening joys and mists. Mia turned 5, pigtails flying on Ryan's shoulders at co-op fairs. Her laughter a melody over harvest calls. Alex, 35, helmed the center as director, chapters nationwide, his TED Talk whispers to roars viral. Ryan's empire greened the Northwest, partnerships with indigenous growers honoring land stewards. Kai graduated welding prodigy his own shop in Tacoma, Harlan Forge, not eternal. David, at 60, eased from commissions, teaching at community colleges, queer welders cohorts, sparks symbolizing rebirth. Marcus's gallery expanded, traveling shows celebrating midlife loves. Their marriage, a decade strong, deepened in quiet. Mornings with crosswords, evenings stargazing from the bungalow's roof, Portland's lights a distant hum. Family orbits widened. Mia's adoption siblings' visits, Lena's garden blooming wild. But age's shadow crept. David's knee twinged from yard days. Marcus's eyes strained over canvases. Health scares dotted. Ryan's appendix burst mid-spring. Alex pacing ER. Kai's breakup raw, crashing at theirs. Through each, the core held. That rainy night's words, bedrock. Crisis brewed subtle. Alex's burnout, center's growth straining resources, board pressures mounting. Am I enough? He confessed during a rare solo hike with David, Rainier looming. Pushing too hard, David, staff aiding his limp, paused. You gave me permission to live. That's your enough. Respite came. Sabbatical, Ryan's farm Sabbath. Mia milking goats, stories by fire. Summer brought milestone. David's retrospective at Sam. Sculptures chronicling arc, from hidden halls to open seas. Opening night, tuxes and tears. Alex's toast. Dad steel bends but never breaks. Like us. Mia, in frills tug. Papa brave. Flashbulbs popped, but the real light was family clustered. Marcus's pride kiss. Fall tested Ryan. Co-op expansion snagged by corporate buyout threats. Eco-greed clashing his ethics. Lawsuits loomed, stress etching lines. Alex rallied, crowdfunding campaigns surging. David donated a piece, proceeds pivotal. Victory hard won, but Ryan emerged fiercer, vowing land for all. Winter's gift, Mia's school play, shepherd and nativity, queer twist, angel's rainbow. Grandparents front row, applause thunder. After, Coco and carols, Kai bringing date, steady engineer, sparks mutual. Spring circled to reflection. David, 62, journaled memoirs, welded truths from Mia's future. Alex edited, additions from all. Launch party intimate, readings tearful. As pages turned, the hook echoed. That confession, the reply, ripples endless. Aunt Lena's spirit lingered in blooms. Her forgiveness a chapter, closed gentle. New kin joined. Kai's wedding under cascades. David's best man words, love's the strongest alloy. As decades waned, David watched Mia chase horizons, Alex graying at temples, Ryan's hands earth-stained eternal. In quiet moments, he'd whisper to Sarah's photo, we made it. The value? Bravery begets belonging, one word at a time. Humanity's finest forge. Twilight settled over the sound like a well-worn blanket, fairies tracing silver paths home. David, 70 now, rocked on the bungalow porch, cane hooked on rail, Marcus beside, silver hair matching his, hands entwined gnarled but sure. Their life, a gallery of welds, trips to Paris ateliers, volunteer builds in New Orleans post-floods, quiet years mentoring grandkids. Alex, 45, mirrored his father's gait, center a national force, policy shifts, lives a light. Ryan, ever the grower, retired to advisory, their farm trust held for youth programs. Mia, 20, studied marine bio at UW, dives echoing Alex's depths. Kai's forge boomed, family of 4, echoes of the boy they saved. Gaps filled, great-grandkids toddled, holidays boisterous, Portland to Seattle shuttles, tables groaning multicultural. David's memoirs bestseller, schools assigning, sparking dialogues. Health's tide turned. Marcus's heart faltered, stents and scares. David bedside eternal. Our story's not done. Recovery slow, but love's pace patient. Walks resuming, sketches returning. Alex faced empty nest. Mia's dorm move, pangs sharp. Like when you left, he told David over FaceTime. But prouder. Ryan's cancer whisper, early, treatable. Rallied all. Experimental trials, farm air healing. Remission danced, family tighter. Legacy bloomed. Center's Harlan Wing, exhibits of journeys. David's speech, voice gravel, one night, rain and truth. Words that welded us. Applause, Mia's hug. Your words, Grandpa, mine now. Winter's End, David penned final entry. The change? From fear to family. Son's reply, Grace's gift. He closed book, Marcus's head on shoulder, sound sighing approval. In sunset's gold, the arc complete. Bravery's echo, love's enduring beam. Humanity redeemed, one heart at a time.